the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Sparta. I feel like I'm about to turn into a Spartan 300.
Okay.
That after that speech, yeah. No, it's very true though. I mean, most people just want to live comfortable lives. They don't want to rock the boat. You know, most people are not ready to lose. They're not ready to win either, because winning is a thing, you know, like there's competition and there's battles and there's secret wars, you know, when winning and losing. Nobody likes a loser, right? Everybody looks at that person like, oh my God, this person lost. Fuck that person. That's how we look at it. We live in that gladiator society. But why did you pick that quote?
Man in the arena?
Yeah.
You know, there was a news article that I read today, actually, and it was about Naomi Osaka. And Naomi Osaka is a tennis player.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and Google who Naomi Osaka is. She's a Japanese professional tennis player. She's been ranked number 1 by the Women's Tennis Association.
Has she went up against Serena already?
You know, to be honest, I don't know that I'm an avid tennis watcher. Definitely not a tennis player.
I don't watch any of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I do catch when Serena or Venus, when they played. You know, definitely got to represent and watch them play, because they hit those balls crazy. You know, entendre, by the way. But yeah, they just be knocking those joints down the field, and yeah, it looks incredible when they play. This young lady is talented.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing about it is she bowed out of the French opening. She got ostracized for prioritizing her own mental health.
Yeah, I seen that article. I was basketball players are allowed to do it. I think Kevin Garnett does that all the fucking time. You know, he's just like, fuck the media, don't talk to me. And you know, we give him shit for it, but I don't think he gets fined. She got fined like $15,000.
$15,000. And I guess it's part of the contract, maybe. I don't know.
Fuck that $15,000. She's got the money. I mean, just pay it.
Like there has to be a media commitment or something. But the thing that where I read, it's that Naomi Osaka wrote a letter beforehand, letting them know, whoever them is, letting the association, the organization know that she wasn't okay. And
so you think she was suicidal?
I don't know. Maybe she just has a healthy dose of self-awareness and knows herself well enough that, okay, I'm not okay. And what steps can I take to be okay?
What really is affecting her? I don't really understand it. And it's not really my business either. You know, she's dealing with something, and she said that she was a introvert, and basically that means that she's more powerful alone. And there was an
Is it that she's more powerful alone, or is it that people that are introverted get their energy when they're alone? Right? Is it how you get energy? Like extroverts, for instance, right? So there's extroverts, there's introverts, and then there's ambiverts, right? The people that are switched, the people that do both.
me.
Right? And
Yeah, I do both.
yeah, and if you're extroverted, you get your energy
Right.
from people, from your environment, from your experience. And introverts get their energy from the, I don't know, I'm not an introvert really, so I definitely lean more towards extroversion. So you say you're switch. What is when are you fueled with energy as an extrovert, and when are you fueled with energy as an introvert?
So energy is a form of power. It powers us up. And so to me, it seems like she wants to stay in that mindset where she can't be broken. And that's a great place to be. That's powerful. That's power for her. I get power from talking to people in the sense of communicating and being a bright light to people and being positive. But then I honestly like to just chill in the crib and make music, write, or do something. I spend a lot of alone time, and it does empower you. It makes you knowledgeable if you're researching things, and just it is good to spend time alone, self-reflecting again, self-awareness. Um, but there has to be a stable, healthy social part of you. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small neither. It just needs to be healthy for you. People are important in your life. You can't just run around with one opinion.
So here is what a BBC.com article in the sports tennis section reads. This is them quoting Naomi Osaka.
Mm.
She says, "The truth is, I have suffered long bouts of depression since the US Open in 2018, and I have had a really hard time coping with that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm introverted, and anyone that has seen me at tournaments will notice that I'm often wearing headphones, as that helps dull my social anxiety." She goes on and says that she's not a public speaker naturally, and she gets huge waves of anxiety before speaking to the world's media.
The media is it's that whole bright lights and fame and the snapping shots of photos in your face and being bombarded with questions. Like, it's almost like being a politician, but politicians have way more respect when it comes to media. They just, they'll just they'll just say that, they'll just sideline that question, next question. But she's just trying to get in the zone. I think, yeah, she's like a basketball player. I mean,
Get out of her own head, right?
well, yeah, I mean, headphones usually is to block other people from being in your head. I use headphones for defensive mechanisms so that people don't bother me. I'm in my zone. I'm doing what I do. I don't want to pay attention to what you're talking about, because what people talk about can affect your mindset. And then next thing you know, you're on the court. She's a tennis court, and she's distracted. She's a champion. She wants to win. She's like Michael Jordan or something. She just wants to be in that what do you call it? That mode where you're just focused in. You're just super focused in. You just have that cutting edge of focus. And I mean, she's a champion.
If there's a systemic crisis going on in the sports arena, period. Doesn't matter if it's basketball,
Right.
football, tennis, whatever. Maybe there is an institutional crisis that's being band-aided and pushed on to the players themselves, versus taking a look at the institution and saying, man, there's something wrong here, let me fix it.
She did mention something at the end of that article about some type of social justice slightly. She was like, maybe needing to change their mindsets and rule sets and policies and procedures. And yeah, I mean, as we evolve, we update. As your computer goes through, your iPhone, it gets an update. And she might get her way. Maybe because she's great and she brings views in that they'll say maybe something needs to change. Hey, you don't want to talk to the media? Fuck it. You don't got to talk to them. We need you to play because we need views, because people don't watch tennis like that, or they do. I don't know. I don't have the ratings right here, right now. But yeah, we do need to change a lot of these institutionalizations. They still aren't modernized.
Okay, so interesting that you mentioned institutionalized, because I read an article recently, and it was about prison systems. And prison systems are only there for, now hear me out,
I'm listening.
for people to fall in line. That's what.
So is college.
Yeah, education systems, prison systems, right? The institutionalization. It's to get people to cohere, right? For everyone to conform to this best behavior, and then go out into the world. But what if that's not the right answer?
Of course, it's not the right answer.
So what is?
I mean, institutional is, I mean, I don't even know how to not that I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to say that word properly. I would institutionalize a lot of these systems of institutionalization. There it is.
Good job.
Whoever controls the powers at the time, whatever that be, basically institutionalize their will.
Society is too complex, right? Every day the world gets a little more complicated. But is reductionist thinking the right way?
It depends on what you're reducing. We need to reduce our carbon footprint dramatically.
Fair enough.
We need to increase housing for homeless and people who are impoverished and they're meek. They can't really get themselves up. But we need to increase love. I mean, not that that's a commodity. Agree. We need to increase love. San Jose, there was a big mass shooting of like 8 to 10 people were killed. And this guy was looking for them, man, this old white man. And there was a person that could have got killed, and they responded and they said, you know what? The guy ran into me and he had the gun pointed at me. And he said to me, you were nice to me. Get the fuck out of here. And they were allowed to leave, and they got to keep their life because, and not to say that this person's God and he's allowed to do shit like that, but we are out of control. We need to understand why people go through those emotions. I think that's why there's a lot of, people are not nice. We just have let technology run us, and we don't have emotions. Me and you do. There's people that do, but a lot of us are just, we're walking zombies, yo.
That's some heavy shit there. How do you feel about the statement, there are no shortcuts in life? Lifestyle.
You want me to just say like one word how I feel?
No, just whatever. Free flow.
It's incorrect. There are shortcuts. There are cheat codes. However, I just feel like the hard work catches up to you later with something else.
So are there really any shortcuts? If the work catches up to you later, you have to put in the work sometime, right? It's like investment accounts, right? You can put in the money now and pay taxes on it now, today, or you can defer that and pay the taxes later.
Exactly.
Either way, you have to pay your dues.
You have to pay your dues if you want to. It's about your life. It's your choice. It's your life. It's your choice to do the inner work.
Yeah, because you could choose not to pay in at all. Do you feel that Naomi was disrespected?
I do.
Why? And in what way?
I feel like she was disrespected by them finding her. They could have had more understanding for how she felt as a woman. Women feel things, women are like spaghetti. You know, their thoughts, once you start putting that fork inside and put this, you just keep pulling in thoughts and they're just all over the place kind of sometimes. So, you know,
Yeah, fair enough.
she needs just time to have clarity. And I think that she would have still played if the media would have just said, we respect you. But that's not the name of the game. Like Princess Diana was pretty much killed by the media. I mean, they chased her down. They hated her, and they did
Mm.
everything they could to bombard her. See, a man like Trump, a nigga like Trump, he loves that shit. He's like, yeah, say what you gotta say, cause I'm a pull my dick out on you and say what I gotta say, and
What if
yeah.
what if that's a mask? What if that's a role that he plays? What if it is?
I don't know.
What if that's the political persona, right? Or the media persona?
Some people are really like that. Some people really do wake up in the morning and say, how am I gonna make this motherfucker's life miserable? Like people do wake up saying that because they have so much trauma or whatever it is, or admiration misplaced, or this person might have done something to them actually, and people don't just say sorry and work for the forgiveness. And it just takes a small gift, a card or something. You might fucking have a person do backflips off the shit. You could have did some fucked up ass shit, but just because you sent that motherfucker a card and said, I'm sorry, motherfucker, I really am, and let me make it up to you.
It's the doing versus the watching, I feel.
I always try to bring people in, and people see me do it and they're like, I guess they think that they could do it better, or maybe they just don't like that I'm doing it and they want to put a different face to it. I don't know, but I enjoy people building something that I inspired them with. I look at it as inspiration.
Good.
Yeah, because I think it's misplaced admiration. People,
Oh, that's interesting.
We don't live in a society where people just say, you did a good job, or I like that what you did. People just keep their personal feelings to themselves. and they keep it pushing. But would you say that you have haters, or
can I just I don't know if I have haters. If I do have haters, I try and limit my exposure to them because it's just better for my overall well-being.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but honestly, if people aren't willing to collaborate and find joy, and I'm not saying that I'm not opposed to criticism. I love criticism, but it's got to be constructive. There's got to be a point to it. Uh, I was
did we get to a society where criticism is looked at as hate now?
maybe
I think so.
it's like, why can't we share um, how the lens that we view the world through? How can we productively share our experience, our perspective, our objective reality? I read recently that objective realities, there's not just one objective reality, and that really stuck with me.
It's
So
getting more.
how do you solve all these problems? How? Well, it's going to take a collective intelligence to move us through what could be considered dark times. You're not going to have all the answers, right?
That's the part.
I'm not going to have all the right answers, but together we might be able to constructively discuss our way to some kind of solution or a series of iterative solutions.
Discussion is they say that talking is cheap. Talking takes a long time. We just got to get to work on it. And I think that's another reason why I particularly have haters is because talk is cheap and people just want to see you do shit. They don't really want to see you talk about it. I talk about shit because I'm a person that likes to visually manifest. I like to verbally manifest. I like to hear myself say it. I like to make my subconscious, my subjective reality, believe the shit that's coming out of my mouth so we can get it done.
One of the things I like about you is that AB lifestyle is
lifestyle.
that
I'm not rich and
you're a doer,
famous.
right?
Yeah,
You're a
I get that.
doer. And that's something, that's that muscle that I need to develop. And being in your presence
What do you mean?
helps
You do a lot. What are you talking about?
helps me, but I could do more. And I constantly ask myself, am I pushing enough?
I don't see. The thing is see, if
Tell
you
me.
don't mind,
Envy even.
envy. I had a partner who envied me, right? Because I'm single. I have one child who's pretty much halfway grown. She's 9. And that's it. Those are the sum of my responsibilities. You know, my credit, I really didn't have any and I didn't owe any debt like that. And when I paid it off, I was just, sparkling clean. I have, weed is legal. Those weed charges will get expunged. But after that, I'm pretty normalized as far as like, and so he told me, which I believed him because I'll tell you out there, people, you believe people when they tell you something. Okay. Especially about how they feel about you or whatever they feel about. But he was like, yo, I'm jealous of you already. And I'm like, bro, why would you be jealous of me? And he's like, because you're going to be making way more money than me. And I'm like, we have different lifestyles. He has a family, he has a wife, kids, he has 2 dogs. I just haven't built myself up to where he's at. The money that he's making is the same money I'm making. I just don't have the same responsibilities. So really, he's just mad that he doesn't have overwealth. And that's not something you should be jealous about of somebody because we don't have the overwealth. Like now,
Put
but
in
we
the
have
work.
no, it's not put in the work. We have different lifestyles. People just see the glimmer and they don't look behind the wall. And we see the I was just watching Wizard of Oz. So we see the wizard and the smoke and the flames and the ooh ah and ooh, but we don't go behind the curtain and just see what it took to do all that.
Hey, I want to share something interesting. Did you know that most people on death row, this is a study, right? Facts. Something like over 90% of people on death row say the reason, if you boil it down to one thing, the reason people are in prison and on death row, is because they felt disrespected. But seriously, it comes down to disrespect.
I like this. This is going in a good place. I understand what you're saying. I think that I've felt like that multiple times as a man. As for speaking of men, we all want to feel respected by women and men, and I think that's why there's things such as domestic violence. I think that's why I agree with you and what your point was that people go to jail. I think that's why there's these mobs, these mafias, and these gangs because it's all about respect. And then it's really interesting because the respect is almost territorial. It becomes as you search for respect. It's like there's a book, The Art of Respect by Rap-A-Lot Records head James Jay Prince, of owner of Rap-A-Lot Records. He has a book called The Art of Respect. And that book is basically about how he beat motherfuckers' ass from middle school all the way up to, sub adult 20s. And he basically, no offense, Jay, he basically got, he ran his shit efficiently. I'll just say that. I won't go into it too much because if this gets out, I don't want him to look for me. But he runs it very efficient. And he gonna get his respect. We'll put it that way. And people know him for getting respect because he gonna put in that work. And so I read the book and I'm like, this is very interesting. It's all about respect. And for me personally, I think I admire people like Jesus. And whether people think he's fictional or not, the story of how he got respect without having to fight anybody, just loving and being so wise and knowing people's energies to where you can just call a motherfucker out and a motherfucker can't even get mad to fight you out of respecting them, right? Because one thing that I really remember about Proverbs is that Proverbs says that people gonna tell the truth and people gonna kill to protect the lies. People will fucking kill to protect their respect and lies that they keep going. Because they have to be the one. They have to be, we all are narcissists. We all have insecurities.
We all have narcissistic tendencies.
But like I said, the respect is territorial. It just once you gain respect or it just becomes like a thing of confidence. And it's like a drug. I gotta keep getting more respect.
Okay, let me ask you something. Hold up. Wait a minute. Stop.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna leave that. Go ahead.
So as you gain power, as you gain respect, how do you stay
Money,
humble?
power, respect. What you need in life. Money, power, respect. Staying humble. I stay humble.
Are you sure?
I do because for me personally, people might like not see that from the outside, but for me, I stay humble by stopping in the middle of the highway on 295 and helping distressed women out or men who are stuck in the middle of the highway because their car ran out of gas and it's raining cats and dogs, and I pushed their car out of the way of traffic and some Spanish people came to help me, and I just going out and feeding the homeless just because I care about homeless. I used to be homeless at one point in my life for a long time, and
was it on purpose?
It was and it wasn't.
Tell me more about that.
It's for a lot of people that are homeless that don't have mental issues or not on drugs. They don't have a support mechanism family wise, and they have somewhere to go. They have a purpose. They know what it is. They don't have the finances to get there, and it's hard to obtain it. Look at people like Steve Harvey. What's the guy's his light skinned? He's a rapper. And then there's a whole bunch of people. Anyways, Tyler Perry. These people were homeless, sleeping in their car, sleeping wherever, sleeping at his friend's house on their couches. But the gold that they held within there, inside themselves, knowing and having to push and fight and know that
I will overcome.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's like you don't really know if you're gonna overcome.
So here's the thing. What if you get overtaken by the overwhelm? What if you can't dig yourself out of dire straits? Do you think that is a part of what spawns, like you talked about before, things like mass shootings or even suicide?
Before I say what the word says, the old saying, your angel mama gonna tell you, Junebug, a closed mouth don't get fed. And so the word says, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open to you, ask and you shall receive. So we don't even activate those principles. I'm not clapping because I need to edit. We don't even activate those principles. We don't even
ask.
We don't look for the information to help us. I mean, for me,
okay, so it's a matter of learned helplessness, learned hopelessness.
It could be learned and it could just be unattended. when we don't attend to things, again, we all need to go during COVID time. My suggestion was to the people when I was beginning to learn how to podcast on Facebook. Motherfucker, you should be doing the self-reflection right now. All the fucked up shit you did to people and all the fucked up shit people did to you, you need to be dumping that shit out while you are sitting at the house. You need to be meditating.
12-step program this be.
Yeah, cause what the fuck? You're at the house, you can't go nowhere. You got to deal with you. But people really don't like dealing with themselves. I know people who this pandemic, they could not sit in the house. They were just like, oh, and they just had to pop out somewhere. And you know, people don't want to do the work. That's what this podcast should be called. This is podcast 102. Do the work.
Do the work. I like it.
They don't want to do the work.
So
I don't even want to do the work. Really quickly, I envy you. I envy my ex-girlfriend. I envy all my ex-girlfriends. I envy any person, man or woman, that is a fantastic researcher. Because I have the hardest time figuring out where to find the information on what I'm trying to find for. But women or, you know, men that are in the research, they just bloop, 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 bloop. They know how to Google browse it with the you know, you put the semicolons and the parentheses and you're refining searches down. I mean,
a Boolean search.
I don't know what that is, but yes, exactly correct. And so this is why I'm envious of all my peoples, because I want to be a better researcher. So instead of being envious, what do? Look up YouTube or read some articles on how to research.
So here's what a Boolean search is. Boolean search.
Thank you for spelling it. Yeah, thank you for spelling it.
So in the context of a search engine, it's a type of search where you can use special words or symbols to limit, widen, or define your search. This is possible through Boolean operators such as and, or, not, and near, as well as symbols like addition and subtraction. And parentheses, and all of these build a more robust search for you.
And thank you for sharing that. So now I can get rid of my envy and put it away.
There you go.
Thank you.
Tools, right?
We just solved how to be better people.
Well, how to be better internet searchers.
and not how to hate. Yes. Well, it's a small thing I was hating on, but I mean, essentially, the guy who killed all those people in San Jose could have really just walked into the office one day without his ammunition and literally pulled his dick out and start peeing on the carpet and just said, fuck you to everybody. I don't give a mother flying how you feel about me, and just quit and walk away. Granted, he might have a hard time finding a job.
Let's go towards support systems. So if we had support systems in place,
right,
what would those bleak lives look like then? Maybe we wouldn't have to drill down to where the only option is a mass shooting, or when we don't feel so alone that we have to take our own lives. How do we cultivate support systems that work for us?
It's tough to do that. I would just say that you really have to have that one special person you can call. You have to build relationships for later in life when you go through those tough times. I feel like that's one way of support, but sometimes you're not going to be able to rely on your friends and family. I had a friend and I believe he committed suicide. All of the friends of him that were at his funeral, and we were all from college, we believe he committed suicide, but because he was Catholic, nobody would really say, because, that's a no. And all I'll say is this. I wish he would have called me and just said, yo, I just need you to listen to me and talk. Because he used to call me, crying out for other things that wasn't going to help him medically. And so I would just say that people, help yourself. And when they say love yourself, what that means is talk to yourself. Cry. Watch the movie In and Out. Watch movies, read books, like take care of yourself.
Experience things.
Make sure you eat.
Mm.
Because when you don't eat out of depression, it makes you more depressed and more psychotic. Eating actually will bring you back to life. Even though you might be like, I don't want to eat. Eating, that's because you don't want to feel better. See? Sometimes we just gotta want to feel better. We gotta search for it. We have to do the work to keep us alive. It does get troubling out there. I've wanted to commit suicide multiple times myself throughout life. Even more recently, I didn't want to tell you, sis, but they stole my car again.
Get out of town.
And guess who was in the car with the car? Who was in the car when they stole it? Of course, not my daughter.
Oh, gosh.
But Cash was in the car.
No kidding. Where's Cash?
He's in the house now. I got him back, but they abducted my dog.
Oh my gosh.
Mind you, I was on 14th Street in Rhode Island. I was grabbing food from Ginya, the ramen spot. It was open bar, so they have all the like windows open and people could just walk in from anywhere. It's just everything is open. And I literally turned around and it's gone. And I'm just like, my phone was in the car, $300, an ounce of weed, and my dog. And the only thing I cared about was the damn dog. And I'm like, y'all could have just threw the dog out right then and there and took the car. I don't give a fuck. You know, my insurance company already said that they was going to handle things like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. And they really are. They fucking twitch their nose and they're there, you know?
Wow.
I got the car back because I did the work. I have an app that has a locator on my car and I did the work. Even though they stole my phone, I had the password. Neighbor helped me with his phone. I did the work and found my car. They actually kicked Cash out. They just didn't kick him out there. They kicked him out though. He probably was in there crying. And so they butted him out. And it was actually a lot of people. It was like 4 people in the car, believe it or not. And it was like 2 cars. It was crazy. And the only reason why I know all that information is because the lady that found Cash said that when they dropped him off, they like switched cars. It was mad dudes that got out the car and in the car. And she wanted to let us know so that we could tell the police to see if they had cameras in the area to see, because she's seen them. And not only did she see them, another person seen them. And it just so happened the person that seen them recognized one of the people that was still in the car because they stole his car.
No,
so he didn't follow the car because they stole my car and he was being a good Samaritan. He was like, motherfucker, I remember you from stealing my car.
Oh my gosh.
And so he actually came back and told this police and me this whole story. And I'm just like, this is broad fucking daylight.
Just this morning, I'm quoting someone, right? Let's call him M. M says, whether it's a first or last impression, every impression matters. Right? We must be the example, right? Because who does change start with?
One person.
Starts with me.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to see change in the world, I need to start from right here, myself. So how obviously we know how disrespect plays out. It plays out by people judging without a good understanding. It doesn't, people don't value or they violate your boundaries. People disrespect others by not meeting cultural or hierarchical expectations. People can disrespect others by ignoring their needs, by insecurity. As a self-defense mechanism, people can show others disrespect by simply a confrontation, by ignoring others, right? That omission of respect, or imposing my own beliefs on you. So if that's all the ways disrespect can play out, or a catalog of ways disrespect can play out, what's the other side of the token, right? Maybe respect starts with taking a critical look at our environment, right? Are we living empathetically? Are we showing others empathy and compassion and kindness? Are we learning to be more assertive so people don't disrespect us? Do we feel listened to? Are we heard? Do we value others? Are we nice?
You made some very valid questions that people need to answer for themselves. Me personally, I think sometimes I ruffle people's feathers and I don't know it. We're human. That's the thing about being human.
So what if we just started there? What if we treated people like human beings? What if we treated people like the human beings they are, instead of some stereotypical ideal that we think they are, right? What if we started thinking about how we come together and create cohesion, or right, cohesiveness, right? How do we collaborate versus what drives us apart?
But in being human, you need correction.
Mm.
And so I think that would be what I would say to that, because correction has to come if you're not corrected. The thing is people get out of control with their habits of being human, and they blame it on just being human, and they don't take accountability doing the work again. And so when you don't take accountability, I think then that's when you get the judgments and people lashing out, or and that's such. But yeah, I mean, we just need correction. We all need correction, some more than others, and some don't even know that they're out of control. I had an ex-girlfriend that told me that she didn't realize that she manipulates just randomly. Sometimes she doesn't even know that she's manipulating until she watched the educational video about manipulation. And she, gave me an apology, and I was like, "What for?" She was like, "I was manipulating you." I was like, I don't even want to begin to know where to start with that. But I just appreciate the apology. Let's move forward. And
That's
that's what
it.
we did.
That's an exquisite example of a way to approach when you feel someone is disrespecting you, right? Challenge it, counter it, and make changes when necessary, right? Apologize. Sometimes the approach you might take is to persevere through the disrespect, show a sense of tolerance. Perhaps another approach might be to ask for clarity, right? Be genuine, right? Genuinely ask for clarity instead of throwing up a temporary solution. Like, let's look for
or
a
or
long-term
or, or,
fix.
or throwing up a temper in general.
Yeah.
But the thing is people are liars. And I think that me and you particularly are very strong people. We can self-reflect and come to an accountability part of our lives and go out there and be honorable men and women. But a lot of people have a lot of skeletons that they want to hide. They really are introverted, and they want to keep those things inside because they don't want people to look at them differently. See, the thing is people knew who people really were. If people were that transparent, it would that's like, the truth is scarier than fiction, because you be like, this how you really so I think that again, we just got to do the work. If you want to do it, I only want to hang out with people who want to do the work. who actively are self-aware, self-conscious, who are mighty eagles and they fly high at high altitudes and they don't bring. Listen, I met a woman, she's a multimillionaire, and she said something brilliant to me when we went on our first date. She's like, this is an interview. I might not even need to bring you into my life. And that's a great statement. We should say shit like that to each other. Because if you see red flags or if you don't agree with things that down the line are going to conflict with you, you might as well not bring that person in your life because you're going to bring yourself a whole summer trouble.
I have to agree, right? That's that comment that you made earlier, and about who do you hold within your life? Do you hold these toxic people? Do you hold these haters, or do you just not make room for them? And what you're saying is just, through this interview practice, you could choose to not make room for them. And that's the beauty of choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have things that you have to deal with people. I just want people to know out there, because we are making it sound sweet a little bit. You cannot just avoid things. You can do it for quite some time, but eventually you're going to have to not only face the man in the mirror, Michael Jackson, but you're going to have to face your haters or face adversities. That's what I was looking for. You got to face adversities. You got to be David. I mean, you think David wanted to go up against a Goliath? I mean, look at that word. I mean,
it's a metaphor for life.
This is what I'm saying. We're all constantly battling giants. But as we progress in life and we elevate mentally, we should become smaller giants to other people. We should become...
Elaborate on that.
We should become smaller giants to other people, meaning as we fix ourselves and self-reflect, we become smaller egos and we become smaller giants. But as we're...
Humbleness.
The humbleness, but the terrible parts of us make us giants. It makes us terrifying looking, and it makes us, it's like, oh, I don't want to deal with this person. Oh, I know this person is gonna fuck me up, or it's conquering your fears and minusculing it to, it's that whole you ever seen those Snicker commercials and people are like other people and shit, right? And they're just acting up, they're just talking shit. And then they give this motherfucker a Snickers, yo. And then they change back to their normal person who's just calm, chill, collected, whatever. And that's what it is. It's like, we gotta, people, not we, but people, you have to do the work individually. People, we gotta lower ourselves.
So here's the question. This is the $1 million question.
Oh yeah, I need $1 million. Okay. I'm gonna split it with you.
Where do we start? Do the work. Do the work. Where do we start? Where do we start? What's step one?
Step one, if I was president, instead of creating a pandemic, I would have just said, okay, enough is enough. World, I'm the leader of it. We're taking a break. We're going to take a year off. Here's the objective. Fix yourself.
So what is step one?
Step one is to let people go home and self-reflect.
Okay, so I'm me.
Turn off all the satellites and let them just float in space, and leave one channel on and let it be a meditation channel where once a day everybody tunes in. Put out a policy checklist of things that you should, like they did for COVID. You should have tea in the morning under the sun by yourself. No headphones, no devices.
So here's what Happy Spirit, that's me, right? Here's what Happy Spirit would say to all the other peeps out there. Get bored. Get bored, honestly. If that's meditation for you, that's fine. If it's sleeping for 5 days because you need it, fine. Sit with yourself. Be uncomfortable for a while. Figure out what the real issues inside are. And then realize that change starts with you. What is the most uncomfortable thing you're sitting with? Draw it out and fix yourself.
Well, we again we make it sound so easy because people actually have really serious things that they have to sit with. Like, for
Mhm.
example, war veterans.
What about people that commit adultery? What about people that miscarry? Right? What about people that are just ugly to the world because they're ugly inside?
Yeah, I mean, we
These
should
are
just.
big things, right?
Well,
These are
but
these.
a lot of it focuses back in on we need to cut off some of the technology. These TVs and the social media makes us self-reflect in a way to where it makes us insecure about how we look and who we are. And we're not this meat bag that we see. We're actually spirits, entities that live inside of it. There's something that's going to happen when we pass on, whether you believe that or not. And yeah, I just think that there's tough things people can't just deal with by themselves. And I get that. I really do. But for the majority of us that have easy lives and are just skating by, listen, you got to deal with those childhood traumas. You need to deal with your ex's traumas. You need to deal with
Your most
um,
unfortunates.
what I mean. It's not even just that. You need to deal with the positives too. See, the thing is we don't self reflect and say, "Look at all the good I've done,"
What a
and then
powerful statement.
look back and say, "Let me pat myself on the back." And if I've overcome this, I can overcome that. I actually talked to my mom today, and she said that's. I guess she didn't say she admired it about me. She was just like, "You're an overcomer," and
Mm.
yeah, I guess that would be one word to describe me. I'm an overcomer. Overcome a lot of things, a lot of obstacles where it gave me those mental health issues of suicide and wanting to kill people and wanting to commit adultery just because I feel a certain kind of way or fornicate. I've never been married, but yeah. So I just gotta sit with myself and hopefully everybody has a strong person out there to talk to.
So that brings us to our last and final question.
Hmm.
Who are our friends really?
You or your friend.
Mm.
Everybody's an associate, and unless Jesus said, "If you're my friend, do what I ask of you." Now, granted, that can go negatively or positively. Gang shit on the respect level, like we were talking about. I need you to go kill somebody. You're my friend, right? On just a friend level, I'm sick. I need you to take me to the hospital. You're my friend, right? You know, friendship is something that is mutual. I'm looking for you. You looking for me.
Yeah, and that's great and all, but you have to be able to exhibit some level of judgment, right? Right? There has to be a healthy dose of like critical examination and judgment, right? We can't let our brain be lazy all the time
Judgment on whose part?
on our part, right? We have to be able to take
Self reflection.
a critical eye on what others ask of us and what we ask of ourselves, right? If I am my own friend and you are your own friend, if I said, "Hey, lifestyle, let's go out to the bridge. Let's just jump over."
Right.
It's like, okay, let's use some let's use some judgment here. Let's put it together and make a decision that's best for me, right? Or
Right.
for you.
Right.
Hey, I need you to take this gun and shoot thy neighbor.
Right.
Okay, well, does that violate what's inside? Right? We can't all be comply and conform. At some point, we have to be
With the purge.
smarter than the majority, right? We
I mean, you have to overstand. Yeah. If you choose to, that's up to you. I mean,
It goes back to assertiveness, right?
Assertiveness is an interesting thing because assertiveness and aggression are like the DC, Virginia, Maryland border. Like it's literally a thin line that separates the two. And people could get disrespected either way, whether you think you're being assertive or you're being aggressive. People could, it's perception, but even the word says that things are taken better. It's sweeter. When you give it sweet as honey, when you give it to them sweet, when you come from a love place, I think people can can receive it, whether you're in the fact of assertiveness. If you just got to come from a love place, and it just has to be a place of balance. You have to stand your ground, um, and say no. No is no. And I just think in a day and age now, people are like, you can say no, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take it by any means necessary. We out of control.
So let's get back in check. Let's get back in control. And I think that, if you're all right with it, is a fantastic place to stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Until next time,
I'll see you on the next episode.
peace.
Peace.